Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am back with another Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition Season 17 review. This review is for episode 3, so if you did not watch my reviews for episodes 1 and 2, please go check those out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you can, please hit the thumbs up on this video. I appreciate it, and let's just get right into this review because this episode got messy as hell. So at the very end of last week's episode, Corrupt was up all night long drinking and partying with some of the other cast members in the house, and Tony ended up coming downstairs, and she was pissed off at Tony but also pissed off at the other castmates because they all know he has a drinking problem, yet they're up with him entertaining his BS. So she gets pissed at him and tells him that he needs to eat some food and go upstairs and go to bed. Now obviously Corrupt didn't like the way that Tony spoke to him, and so he decided not to go upstairs to the room and continue to stay downstairs and drink. Now, the next day, he realized that there was no alcohol available to him that early in the morning, and so he goes into the refrigerator and he grabs a kombucha out of the fridge. Now, the only reason why he decided to drink the kombucha was because he saw that there was a little bit of alcohol in the kombucha, which everybody knows if you drink them, they're really good for you. They have probiotics, which is definitely important for your body, but to drink a probiotic and friggin' you haven't eaten and all you've been doing is drinking alcohol for 3 days straight, that's probably not the best idea to drink the kombucha. And so he drank it, and after a while he started to feel sick, and so Dr.Ish ended up calling the paramedics to the house to check up on him, and felt like because he feels like there may be early stages of alcohol poisoning, Corrupt ended up getting sent to the hospital. He needs to really control his drinking, and I really don't think that they should have alcohol available to him while he's in the marriage boot camp house, because all he's doing is just making the situation worse for himself. And I can tell that Tony's getting really stressed out, and she's getting worried because she's been through this with Corrupt before, where he goes on these days-long drinking binges and then he ends up sick for a few days and then he goes right back to drinking again. Now, this episode is going to be all about envy, because we know that this happens in relationships, especially in a public relationship where one of the people in the relationship is a performer or a public figure. You have to deal with people being all over them, and you have to learn how to deal with that without getting out of character. And so Dr.Ish ends up telling the couples their challenge for the day, okay? Dr.Ish tells the couples that they are going to be learning a dance. It's a couples dance that they're going to perform at a party later on in the day. Now, it's a definitely sexual dance, okay? There's some twerking involved. There's some touching involved. And, you know, the couples start practicing the dance, and everyone seems to be doing okay. The guys are not doing too well, but the ladies are. Hazel was being a little bit extra with the dance moves, but that's just the way that she is. She's a little bit extra with everything. And so then after they finish practicing the dance, Dr.Ish drops a bomb on them and lets them know that they're not going to be dancing with their actual partner, but that he's going to pick who they're going to be dancing with. And everybody seemed uncomfortable because, of course, the dance was a very sexual type of dance, and nobody wanted their spouse to be dancing like that with somebody else, especially not one of the other people in the household. So Dr.Ish ends up splitting them up into different groups, and he puts Shonda and Medina together, Tahiri and Devon together. I rolled my eyes when he put Tahiri and Devon together because I felt like that was a messy move, because everybody knows that Tahiri and Hazel had gotten into an argument the previous night because of, you know, Tahiri showing her bralette in front of all the other men. Now, they put Hazel and Willie together, and I knew that that was going to be a messy situation because Shonda and Hazel have been having beef back and forth this season. And so Shonda seems to not be happy about that either. She seemed like she wasn't happy about him being paired up with Hazel, and she said that she felt like Hazel was going to be doing the most just because she's dancing with Willie. Then they put Phaedra and Vado together, which wasn't really a problem because I know that Phaedra will probably keep it classy, and I don't think that Vado has eyes for anybody else in the house but Tahiri, so I honestly don't think that there was anything wrong with that pairing. So after he paired all the couples together, he ended up having them practice the dances, and it was the most cringiest scene to watch because everybody seemed very uncomfortable. There was a lot of tension, and nobody really wanted to dance too much with their partner because they didn't want to make the other people in the house feel uncomfortable. But Hazel was seeming to be really into the dance with Willie, and at first Judge Toller and Dr.Ish, who was watching them practice from a different room in the house, thought that Hazel and Willie were doing a good job, but then they started to feel like Hazel was doing a little bit too much and she was getting a little bit too close and too comfortable. And you could tell that it was pissing Shonda off because she knew that, Hazel does the most. Hazel was doing a little bit too much, especially to be dancing with somebody else's husband, because I know that she wouldn't like it if any of the other ladies was dancing with Devon the way that she was dancing with Willie. But at the same time, I feel like Shonda should have been able to hold it together a little bit more and just do the challenge and get it done and over with, because I highly doubt Willie wanted Hazel in any way, shape, or form. But Devon was also uncomfortable with Willie dancing with Hazel. He said that he didn't like another guy touching his girl, and he also said that Willie is a known cheater, so he felt uncomfortable with the two of them dancing. So I knew that things were going to get ugly very quickly. Now, Corrupt and Tony end up returning to the house a lot sooner than what Dr. Ish wanted. He went to the hospital, and the doctors actually wanted Corrupt to stay longer, but he didn't want to because he said they were going to try to give him a shot, and he is afraid of needles, so he didn't want to stay. I think that he should have stayed because he definitely needs to be monitored a little bit longer. But because he ended up coming home, Dr. Ish had no choice but to accept the fact that Corrupt didn't want to stay at the hospital, and he told Corrupt that he needed to lay low for the day and eat some food and drink some water. And so that's exactly what Corrupt and Tony did. They were not a part of the challenge at all. They were barely a part of this episode, which I think was good because I feel like Corrupt and Tony needed a little bit of a break. They've had the most drama out of everybody in this house so far, and it's only been 2 episodes. Now, the couples were in the kitchen eating and having some drinks after practicing their dance, which was very uncomfortable to watch. And the couples were talking about how they felt about doing the dance with other partners. And Shonda was saying that she felt like Hazel was being extra and she was doing too much. And, Hazel wasn't in the room when this was said, but Devon was there and he heard it all. And so Devon ended up, defending Hazel to Shonda, and Shonda was telling him that she feels like Hazel was being extra, and Willie got annoyed at Devon for addressing Shonda because he was sitting right there. And I also do think that Devon should have addressed Willie, not Shonda, because Shonda's the woman and Willie's the man, and Willie's right there. I feel like the women should be addressing the women when they have an issue, and the men should be addressing the men. And so I do think that Devon was a little bit out of pocket for even having a conversation with Shonda about the situation when Willie was right there present for him to talk to him about it. But at the same time, I feel like Shonda should have been quiet. After a while, once Willie hopped in and said, "Don't address her, address me," I feel like Shonda should have been quiet and let the men handle that. But she didn't. And so, Devon ended up telling Shonda to shut up, which I think was out of pocket. You don't tell another man's woman to shut up, especially when she's right there. Although I do think that Willie should have told Shonda to calm down a little bit and don't say anything, let him handle it. And so it got ugly really friggin' quickly because Willie ended up getting into Devon's face, which I do think that he underestimated Devon a little bit because Devon's the youngest guy in the house, and he's actually a little bit smaller than a lot of the other guys in the house. But, Devon ended up shoving Willie to the ground, and then the two of them started fighting each other, and it got so ugly and so messy so quickly. And Shonda was trying to run over there to break the situation up, but Hazel was holding Shonda back because she didn't want her to get involved in the fight. And it was just really quick, and it was really messy, and it looked like a lot of the castmates were scared because they didn't think it was going to escalate the way that it did. So when Devon finally ended up coming back downstairs and Willie was done getting his hand checked by the doctors in the house or some shit like that, they ended up coming all back into the kitchen again, and it kind of was getting ready to turn into another argument between Devon and Shonda. But then Willie came in and told Devon that he wasn't trying to cause any trouble. He was just trying to let him know that if he has something to say in regards to Shonda, he should address him, not Shonda, which is true. I got a little nervous watching this scene because I thought they were going to end up fighting again because, Willie looked like he wanted to swing on Devon again. But then Dr. Ish ended up coming downstairs and he was pissed off at them, especially Devon, because Devon is the one who used violence first. And he told Devon that he needs to grow up. And he was pissed at them because, they've done this challenge every other season and it never turned into a physical altercation. And now this time it did. So now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do for the remainder of the episode because they never even got to finish the challenge. He brings them all into a different room of the house and it's a whole party theme set up because they were going to do the little party and they were going to do their performance. But that's not going to happen because of the fact that Willie and Devon ended up fighting because of how people were uncomfortable with their partner dancing in a salacious way with other people. And so he was pissed off, Dr. Ish was, because he felt like everybody there is in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form, and they have to be put in compromising positions a lot because a lot of times there's groupies or there's men all over, women that are in the spotlight, and there's women all over men that are in the spotlight, and he thought that they would probably be able to handle themselves a little bit better in that type of situation since they deal with it more often than a lot of other people do. And so he was disappointed in the fact that they all, flipped out the way that they did. So Judge Toller ends up coming in and everyone seems nervous to hear what she has to say because she looks pissed the hell off. She was pissed off because she felt like they handled the challenge in the worst way possible. She said that she's a judge. She's had to lock black men up before and she didn't like having to do it all because they made decisions in the heat of the moment that ended up getting them into trouble. And so she was disappointed in the fact that Willie and Devon turned to physical violence. And, Hazel was trying to tell Devon that she feels like he needs to learn how to handle things better and stop getting as angry as he does because he does have a little bit of a temper on him. That's definitely something that he's going to have to work on. But this challenge was a mess. And I'm mad a little bit because I did want to see them actually do the challenge because they've done it in other seasons. But that did not freaking happen at all. And Judge Toller lets them know that they need to learn to control their actions and put their pride to the side. Now, the couples attempt to enjoy what's left of their little party and they're all outside eating and drinking and having a conversation. And the conversation seems to be going well so far. Everyone understands where their faults were in the situation. But then Hazel comes in and she starts rehashing the drama again, saying that the whole problem started off with jealousy in the first place because Shonda was saying that she was doing too much when she was dancing with Willie and she was jealous of her dancing with Willie, why it turned into a physical altercation. And so then her and Shonda kind of started getting a little bit into a back and forth and everybody was trying to tell Hazel to stop trying to rehash the situation. I don't think that Shonda was jealous that Hazel was dancing with Willie. I just think that she felt like she knows her and Hazel don't get along and she knows that Hazel does too much sometimes, and so she knew that Hazel was probably going to do too much while she was dancing with Willie on purpose just to piss her off, and that's what ended up happening. Shonda does need to learn how to control her mouth a little bit sometimes, though I don't feel like she always has to say something every time she feels some type of way because then stuff like this can happen. But I felt like Hazel was being messy because after everybody calmed down and everybody was just talking things out, she had to come in and bring the negativity. She did say in the beginning of the episode that she felt like the other ladies in the house were intimidated by her because they keep coming for her, but she's the one who keeps coming for other people because didn't she just come for Tahiri in the last episode because Tahiri was showing her bralette and she felt like it was inappropriate for Tahiri to dress like that in front of other men in the house. So for me, it's the pot calling the kettle black. You can't say that Shonda was doing too much and being jealous when it came to her dancing with Willie, but then you did the same thing to Tahiri in the previous episode. So the episode cut there. I thought this was a really crazy episode and I'm interested to see what happens in the next episode. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you to all my subscribers for the support. I am getting closer and closer to reaching my goal, so I want to thank you guys for that. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.